Students, I am JV'n Nehal Mittal, and today I'm going to tell you about private defense as a general defense for law of torts. So, the law has given permission to protect one's life and property, and for that, it has allowed the use of reasonable force to protect himself and his property. So, the use of force is justified only for the purpose of self defense, and there should be an imminent threat to a person's life or property. So, this is allowed for self defense, and there should be an immediate threat to the person's life or to the property. For example, A would not be justified in using a force against B just because he believes that someday he will be attacked by B. So the force used must be reasonable also and to repel an imminent danger. So the force used should be reasonable enough and it should be in order to avoid the immediate danger. So for example, if A tried to commit a robbery in the house of B and B just draw his sword and chopped his head, then his act of A would not be justified and the defense of private defense cannot be pleaded. For the protection of property, also, the law has only allowed taking such measures which are necessary ones to prevent the danger. For example, fixing of a broken glass pieces on a wall, keeping a fierce dog, etc., is all justified in the eyes of law. In Bird versus Holbrook, the defendant fixed some spring guns in his garden without displaying any notice regarding the same. And the plaintiff, who was a trespasser, injuries himself due to its automatic discharge. So the court held that this act of the defendant is not justified and the plaintiff is entitled to get compensation for the injuries suffered by him. Then similarly in Ramnuja Murtali versus M. Gangon, a landholder, that is the defendant, had laid a network of live wires on his land, and the plaintiff, in order to reach his own land, tried to cross his land at 10 p.m. He received a shock and sustained some serious injuries due to the live wire, and there was no notice regarding it. So the defendant was held liable in this case, and the use of live wires is not justified in this case. Then there is a case that is Collins versus Renison. So in this case, the plaintiff went up a ladder for nailing a board on a wall in the defendant's garden. The defendant threw him off the ladder, and when sued, he said that he was just gently pushed him off the ladder and nothing else. It was held that the force that was used was not justifiable as the defense. So, in we can summarize that to have a private defense, you can use it for your own self defense, and it should be for any danger that is to your personal that is to the person's life or the person's property, and such threat or danger should be immediate enough, and the force used to avoid such kind of immediate threat should also be reasonable and should be reasonable in order to just avoid that danger. You cannot, like, if a person, for example, there is a person who is uh, going sitting on the train and the train is running on the track and you are very far away from there, but then you see there is a person, he is trying to holding his hand and trying to shoot you. So this doesn't mean that it is an immediate danger to you. So such danger, that is the threat that is there for you, should also be very reasonable and it should be imminent. That's all. Thank you so much.